What is going on, guys? It's your MC Gucciha here, ready to lay down some facts. Today we're going to be doing a topic that may seem strange at first, but I do think that it's important that I add this to my scaling archive. Today we will be scaling Spongebob SquarePants versus the entire verse of Dragon Ball. I'm really hyped to get into this, so let's waste no time. This may seem like a joke topic, but I promise you, I was able to dig up some concrete scaling for even the wackiest verse. So let's get right into it. SpongeBob versus Dragon Ball. The thing about a lot of cartoon verses is that we get a lot of very powerful feats. Gag characters like Saitama, just kidding, I mean Arale, are surprisingly effective against more serious verses that have more concrete scaling. The one thing that may seem like a weakness for a verse like SpongeBob is that the scaling can be a bit inconsistent, so people have a tendency to mark feats as outliers that I don't always agree with. But that aside, the SpongeBob solo, is he able to hit Goku with a rock? So anyway, I won't hold you guys, we'll start off with SpongeBob before we get into some Dragon Ball scaling. Alright. While Sandy was craterboarding, we see her travel to Saturn in less than a few seconds, before she rides around Saturn's orbit. Now, if you look at this from how fast it would have to be in real life and forget that it's a cartoon, and you actually take the feat at face value instead of trying to downplay the verse by labeling the feat as an outlier, then we get a figure of about 2,487 times faster than the speed of light. Now all we have to do is try to scale that to SpongeBob. SpongeBob and Sandy have shown relativity to each other numerous times. They fought each other evenly, and SpongeBob has been shown able to keep up with Sandy. During the episode where Sandy was woken up from hibernation, what appears to be a bloodlusted Sandy chased both SpongeBob and Patrick, with them somewhat being able to outrun her. There's also the feat of SpongeBob catching his own reflection by surprise. Since a mirror obviously reflects light, that must mean that SpongeBob was able to turn around at least a few times faster than the speed of light. We also have multiple feats of the cast of SpongeBob even dodging lasers, with Plankton even stating himself that the lasers are infrared, thus being the speed of light. We also have another feat of SpongeBob dodging lasers in the Sponge Out of Water movie that were shot by Bubbles the dolphin. Now, let's think about what happened to Goku when a laser was shot at him. Nah, I'm kidding. Anyway, we can easily use FTL as a baseline for the verse. There's also the feat of Patrick running to the sun and back. Now, if you think about the fact that light for 8 minutes to travel to Earth, and it took Patrick just a few seconds to reach it, he puts him at massively FTL. Something like SpongeBob's Quickster costume doesn't even really mean much, because at best it only calcs to massively hypersonic plus, which is nothing even compared to the infrared dodging feat. Now, let's get into some speed scaling for Dragon Ball. Most of you have probably heard of this feat, but it's important to go over. It's when Piccolo blows up the moon. Calculating the speed of the explosion, we get a figure of 0.405 c, or about 40% the speed of light. This calc is slightly different than it would be in real life because the moon in Dragon Ball is actually stated to be 400,000 meters closer to Earth than it is in real life. Now, assuming during the Radix fight that the Ki Blast fired by Piccolo and Goku are the same speed, if not likely greater than the blast Piccolo shot at the moon, we can easily get them to maybe high relativistic to multiple times faster than light. After running across Snake Way and training with King Kai, he should be even faster, and each stage of the Kaioken multiplies his speed even more. The next milestone is versus Raccoon, where he reaches speed meaningless time. Now, let's get into attack potency and destructive capacity. This time we'll start with Dragon Ball, which has a plethora of feats that we can examine. Back to Piccolo blowing up the moon. According to most calcs, and anyone with half a brain, Piccolo destroying the moon should be much higher than moon level because the tiering system is based on the amount of joules an attack uses. Piccolo blowing up the moon so quickly released I'm not even going to attempt to say the number of joules. However, it converts to 4.82 yotatons of TNT, pushing Piccolo up to large planet level. Next up, we have Frieza destroying Planet Vegeta, an even more impressive feat. This feat has been calced from anywhere to large planet level to even large star level. We'll go with something in the middle and say that Frieza destroying the planet is dwarf star to star level, which is even more impressive when you notice that Frieza was only in his first form, his weakest form. Now, let's move on to the Cell Saga. Cell has stated himself that he has enough power to blow away the solar system himself, and it's very believable when you think about all of the powerful fighters that went into making him. The androids being even stronger than 4th form Frieza and various Saiyans. El Manga Legendario, which is canon, states that Gohan has enough power to destroy the solar system as well, which makes sense because he's able to push back a solar system level Kamehameha from Cell. Going to Majin Buu being stated as a threat to the universe, however, it's only because he can destroy the universe over time, meaning that he's likely just multi-solar system to galaxy level, with his other forms getting stronger and stronger. Buu does have a few space-time feats, with him in the anime being able to screen open a portal to get outside of the hyperbolic time chamber. Stated by Dende that the walls between dimensions will break down, and stated by Vegito that the universe may be crushed by alternate dimensions. While there is nothing to state that Buu is universal or 4th dimensional, we do have some feats leading into Super. Moving on to Battle of Gods, here's a very important feat that we use in order to get into uniscaling. It's Goku and Beerus' clash being stated able to destroy the universe, with Goku obtaining God Ki in base and further getting stronger as a Super Saiyan Blue, which firmly places him at Uni Plus to low end multiversal. By the time he's fighting Jiren, who is stated the strongest opponent that Goku has ever faced, making him even stronger than Universe Fused Zamasu. The strongest being in Dragon Ball so far is their version of God, Zeno, who's casually destroyed universes in anger and who oversees the multiverse. This likely places him as Multiversal Plus. Spongebob using his reef roller sucked the entire ocean dry, a feat that was calced to large planet level. In the episode where Spongebob tinkers with the locker, he was able to make it contain stars and possibly galaxies. If you argue that it's a separate time space that Spongebob created, then he would be universal. Now, here's the feat you all came for, Spongebob unwinding the universe. While this may look like a gag, it provides us some solid scaling, placing Spongebob at Uni Plus casually. Also, when even Patrick scales to this, maybe even stronger since he was able to unwind Spongebob. Now, getting into even stronger feats. In the movie Sponge Out of Water, a powerful object known as the Magic Book allows the wielder to manipulate reality as they please, allowing them to manipulate the plot. Spongebob holds onto the page, letting him manipulate reality. Into some more obscure feats. From the Spongebob comic issue number 37, Spongebob interacts with an entity known as the Dreaming Dreamer. When amped by Jelly, he's told to awaken this entity in order to fuse dimensions together, which Spongebob does, making him even higher than Multiversal. This is likely the strongest feat that we can find for Spongebob, and it's pretty ludicrous. You can calc this feat to possibly high complex multiversal to hyperversal. I've seen different discussions about it. Anyway, nothing in Dragon Ball compares to this feat, and likely even Dragon Ball Heroes loses to it. In fact, Dragon Ball Heroes is just a video game inside of the Dragon Ball verse if you really think about it, but when they begin to interact with the real world, that's when you're able to use Heroes feats. Anyway, let's explore some of Spongebob's hacks. The magic conch shell is arguably an omniscient entity. Spongebob has been shown to have probability manipulation, seen in this clip.
I'm every bit as cool as Larry, and if I'm not, let me be struck by a flying ice cream truck. And live!
A very powerful feat. Anyway, it's been long enough, so let's get on to the conclusion. SpongeBob completely stomps Dragon Ball, the entire verse, and SpongeBob has feats that compare to every arc of Dragon Ball, and even surpass the dimensional scaling of Dragon Ball, based on comic feats. While SpongeBob's speed would be lower than Goku's, him having inaccessible speed, based on the string feat, pushes him even higher, and the Dream comic feat further solidifies SpongeBob's superiority over the verse. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. This video took a lot of effort, so please like and subscribe. Anyway, see y'all next time.